Hello and welcome to the Friday night interviews with Cast Iron, where every week we speak to various creatives who are working in, living in, or just passing through Brighton and beyond. And this week our special guest is Katy Schutte. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. Oh, I'm so pleased to be on. Thank you. Thanks
It's
for
delightful
asking me.
to meet you. It's been a while since you and I have seen each other face to face.
Yeah, it's a bit weird that, isn't it? I'm like we've messaged a bit, but it's one of those strange things where as soon as I think about who I've actually seen in real life, it's almost no one.
It's
It's a bit strange.
it is strange, isn't it?
Mhm.
Because you're in London,
Yeah.
which obviously is reasonably densely populated. What's been the radius from your home? What's the furthest you've managed to get in the last few weeks?
We like walking,
Yeah.
so me and my husband Tony have kind of we've walked all the way to Richmond Park and stuff. So it might take 2 hours to walk there, and then we'd spend 4 hours walking around the park, and then 2 hours home. So we might occasionally spend a whole day just like walking,
Yeah.
which is really nice.
Yeah.
And I did actually get on a train the other day,
How was that?
it was really weird for a bit, and I was like, is this okay? Oh, I feel really guilty, but
Yeah.
I think it's all right. And then after a few minutes, it felt very normalized. There was almost no one on the train. We had masks on and stuff, and it was like, oh, okay, this is fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
It's
all right though.
I'm aware of going past shops that still have the "Looking forward to Easter" posters up in the window,
Yeah,
which is very.
yeah.
How I mean, you have been keeping busy. You teach still online.
Hmm.
How is because you teach improv and other things, and that's obviously quite a rarefied skill. How is that for you, teaching, not being in the same room?
Yeah, it was interesting. Honestly, if I was completely solo in my job, I don't think I would have been brave enough to teach improv online,
Yeah.
or certainly not at the beginning. But because the Maydays and the nursery and Hoopla were going, his work,
Yeah.
I couldn't really not do it. So I'm really glad I got the kick in the butt to do that. Because although I was really nervous for the first couple of classes and was like, I've been doing this for 15 odd years, but this is a new medium. But yeah, after the first couple of classes, I was like, "Ooh, there's different fun stuff." And actually, I get to be really creative again. So it's not just doing exercises. I know, like, I just taught a class before we had a chat. We're having a chat.
Yeah.
And that just tried out a couple of new on screen exercises, and they were really fun. So now I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely the thing, isn't it? Because I've been reading lots of conversations about not trying to shoehorn exercises that have worked before into literally reformat them for the digital media, and
Yeah.
also using the I guess leaning towards the problem of going, okay, we can't do this, or this is what Zoom or whatever Hangouts do. Let's do an
Yeah.
exercise in that way.
It's almost work backwards, like not what are the exercises that are good for this. It's like, what do you want to achieve?
Yeah,
Okay, create something that you can do on screen. So if you want people to be physical or interact with one another or warm up their brain or whatever, you're going, okay, well, what can I use with this tool to make that interesting?
yeah.
So it's different in different classes. I mean, I'm teaching writing as well, which I'm sure I've taught occasional writing things before, but I've never done a pure writing like 8-week course. I'm doing it for solo shows.
Yeah.
And now I have PowerPoint presentations and stuff and sharing my screen. And I'd never really used that as a tool for online teaching before, but it was like, oh no, I need to show people this, or I need to plug in my like my phone and
Yeah.
draw on it to show people what we're doing, or use my iPad, and it's good.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm more like technophile now instead of technophobe, I think, about this stuff. I'm not as scared, and I'm a bit more like, oh, what else can I do? That's cool.
Because I think it is probably an easy excuse for creatives to not be technical and go, oh, I don't do that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
it's almost unavoidable now we can't do that.
And for students as well, I think the fact that they can't meet live in real time right now,
Yeah.
or not, depends where people are in the world, I guess,
Yeah.
and what their rules are at the moment. But for most people, it's like, okay, well, it's the only place I can do it, and
Yeah.
not everyone does. Some people have just opted out, which I completely respect. But yeah, just going, okay, I probably wouldn't have gone online to do this, but it's made people feel more comfortable with that, which is actually pretty good for global improv and creative stuff.
Absolutely. And I think it's educational for whenever we go back to normal, because then it becomes much more about accessibility,
Mm.
whatever is going on in the world, about people who wouldn't normally have been able to go to workshops and classes anyway. This is now
Yeah.
a new avenue.
Yep.
We were chatting before about like gardening and stuff, and
Yeah.
your mention of like PowerPoint reminds me of is there stuff that you might have been scared of or dismissed when you were 20? Go, oh, I'll never do that.
Mm.
That's not what I am. And now you go, no, actually, you know what? I'm going to embrace that fully. That's definitely part of my life. Is there anything that?
Mm. That's very interesting. I feel like I was always 40. so I think I always liked reading and
Yeah,
crafts and like chill out time and stuff. And actually it's more like when I was partying and drinking a lot and doing like regular student
yeah,
things through my 20s and early 30s, I guess. I think there was always a bit of like, oh, I look forward to the point where I don't have to do this all the time.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So is it, I don't know. No, not really.
yeah.
I'm started knitting a couple of years ago, but as
Yes,
soon as I did, I was like, oh yeah, of course.
just
And it
home.
feels it's very natural
Yeah,
and nice. Yeah. But I think I always did things like that, like craft things or made clothes or
yeah.
whatever. So it's not unprecedented.
Yeah, I always used to joke that I
Mm.
was born at the age of 42, up until the point that I started looking like I was 42. Then it made no difference.
Yeah. You came into your power is what
Yeah, yeah,
happened.
yeah.
Yeah.
Moving towards it. What's the favourite thing you've knitted?
Oh, I mean, I knitted a jumper recently. I've only ever knitted two jumpers, and the first one was very simple, but like took me forever. And then I knitted one with like a little lightning bolt down it, and it took me all of lockdown until this point,
Yeah,
which is like I don't know what 13 weeks or
yeah.
something. And it was really hard, and I messed up a lot and had to undo things and do them again. And then I finished it, and it felt like amazing. On my desk,
Yeah.
I have a mug rug. This is a
Oh, look at
lion.
that.
This is a coaster that you put your mug on. It's like it's a rug for mugs. It's
That's
absolutely
a
pointless.
thing of beauty. Well, I like things that are absolutely pointless. We don't have enough things that are genuinely pointless.
Hmm.
Because I think we're told not to waste time. We're told not to waste our lives. But things that are
Mm.
beautifully pointless. I don't necessarily mean like binging trash TV, although I think that's included. But yeah, just things that are like you can look at a thing and go, that serves no purpose, and it's like
Yeah. The purpose is that brings me joy, or
yeah,
that's fun, or yeah,
yeah.
it makes this corner look nice, or whatever.
Yes, we're
That's
talking
fine.
about clothing and things that look nice. We should acknowledge that we're wearing the same T-shirt, which is
Yeah,
only
that's
partially
awesome.
sort of accidental. Yeah, I was saying to you before that I think I picked up the last one in whatever shop I picked it up from.
Hmm.
Um, although my strongest memory of this is somebody in a shop, a guy sort of like acknowledging the T-shirt. Oh, that's really cool. That's fantastic. It's really cool, and was rhapsodizing about it for a few minutes, and then tapped his partner on the shoulder and goes, "That look at that, the Scooby Velma and the zombie sort of thing. That's really cool." And her reaction was very, yeah, did not share his enthusiasm at all.
I had a small child. I can't remember what age they were, but it is yeah, as you say, a zombie recreation of Scooby Doo. So there was a kid who, and I don't know if they'd seen Scooby Doo, but they were like, why does the dog have someone's severed hand in its mouth? And I was like, it's a fun cartoon. Just like shut the conversation down. So I didn't really want to start talking to a child about death
No,
necessarily.
I mean it is a legitimate question, but
Hmm.
it's also I think really telling that Velma is the one who survives.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean,
um,
come on.
and presumably Scrappy was long gone.
I think they ate Scrappy.
Yeah,
Scrappy was on a
food.
spit, I think, very soon
Yeah.
into the zombie nightmare.
If you were given, this is a question that's only just occurred to me then. If you were
Yeah.
given like a cartoon franchise and you
Oh
were the
yeah.
lead writer on that, what one would you have? I mean,
Um.
it might be. I know that I haven't seen the last couple of versions of Scooby, but I get the impression that there is
mm,
interesting, not growing up, but sort of interesting stuff with it. But yeah,
I think I've just finished watching a cartoon that absolutely blew my mind, but I wouldn't want to write on it in case I ruined it because it's like perfect.
yeah,
It's called The Dragon Prince. It's on Netflix.
okay,
That's my top recommendation. It's just brilliant. laugh, cry, beautiful animation, great, lovely diversity, brilliant actors. So fun. It's really good. If I was going to write on one, I think it would be something like Gravity Falls, something like that. That's a great series. I think it's cartoons. Yeah, or maybe that's what you asked me, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
A franchise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like Gravity Falls, which feels like a sort of fun, light family entertainment, but that then actually has this really dark, like, story arc, and a bunch of weird, witchy things going on in the background, or paranormal stuff.
Fantastic. What are you working on at the moment? What sort of stuff are you working
on? I am working on. So because of the situation we're in, we were going to be filming a sitcom that me and Edmund Fargo wrote in like 2 weeks' time, but obviously we can't do that. So we've pushed it forward a year, which is so heartbreaking. So just to kind of cheer us up, and we Indiegogo funded it. So to kind of give something back to our backers, we're doing a table read over 5 lunchtimes starting from the 29th of June. So that's a nice thing. So we're just ramping up to that. Just sharing the work again, and it's changed a bit since last time we did a live table read. So there's that. Me and Chris Mead, who's my improv buddy, we've started a business which is basically online improv community platform. So we're launching that on Monday. So that's a lot of my time is putting that together.
So tell me more about that. Well, what's the? It sounds like a bank manager question. What's the point? What's the purpose of that business? What does it exist?
Sure. It's for professional and people who aspire to be professional improvisers, because it's just sort of becoming a much bigger group of people. And this was conceived before lockdown as well, so it has been something we've been wanting to do for a while. So it's kind of like the masterclass of improv. So eventually we'll have a cache of like videos and classes and stuff that people can either just watch like an online course and learn from it, and also we'll have live classes and stuff as well. But the main thing is that it's a community. So unlike Facebook, it's not going to steal your data or hide things you post unless you pay money for them, or
advertise so that you have to bring an audience to, type thing.
So it's like Facebook, but not evil, and it's only for that section of improvisers. And it's a paid subscription, but we're also not gatekeeping it. So if people can't afford it for whatever reason, then we're just like, well, just come then, and we just send them a scholarship.
Excellent.
So that's really exciting and very, very cool. There's loads of cool stuff on there. There's like polls and articles, but the main thing is that it's getting people to talk to each other in a more concise way, because Facebook, for me anyway, I don't know if everyone's on it, but there's like so many different groups and everyone's pasting the same thing here and there, and someone will like, what's a good beginner's exercise, and then you'll get like 1,000 replies and massive essays. It's very overwhelming. So this is a bit more neat and tidy, and like, here's this chat, here's that chat. You can have whatever tags you want and just look at them. If you only care about teaching, fine. If you only care about the people who live near you, you just talk to them or whatever. So it's that. And we're being as diverse and inclusive as possible as well. So we're making sure from day one that anyone can be there and everyone should be there. And it's also, as we talked about, online means that most people can access it. So people that can't afford to travel, or we're not trying to be ableist. It means that if you can get online, you can be involved.
Because that sounds really exciting. Because I'm going to speak in very broad strokes here, very sort of, and it might be such a broad stroke that you're able to either sort of go, that's right, or vehemently disagree with some irritation. Because it seems to me that improvisation in like Canada and America, that, for want of a better word, it seemed like legitimate. You can see a career path from improvising to making work to creating TV and film, whereas it seems to be a little bit more fractured or less clear in this country and other countries. Is that fair?
I think it's every country broadly seems to have its own kind of system or schools, but actually over the last few weeks, like IO closed. Lots of other Second City has completely revamped itself because of all the complaints.
Yes.
So it's not a bad time to try again with community and build it up. So I think historically we've had a bit more like gurus and like this is the way to do it, but everyone can talk to each other now. So it's almost like if we're being corporate about it, it's a bit more best practice or sharing what's useful. Not just one, we have to follow this one system or this one person.
Because having a totem isn't always healthy, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. Like all art, I think it should grow and evolve, and having conversations is the way to make that happen, isn't it? I mean, that's perfect.
Talking about evolution and growing, what are there stuff that you're looking forward to? Because obviously this is a weird time that we keep reading the sort of things about the lockdown level and whatever, and when we're not going to be wearing masks. But can you see things that you are looking forward to the next few months?
Yeah, I mean, I will answer your question. I was looking forward to, me and my husband were going to go on like a 1 or 2 week walk. We like doing big hikes and stuff. And we were going to go to the Carpathian Mountains. We can't really do that. So we're going to do some kind of walk. So wherever we can go without compromising our or anyone else's safety, we have a little break coming up. So it'll just be online a lot less, a bit, and then just go for a lovely walk, maybe camp if we can. That kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. And also just the improv place is exciting. I'm looking forward to what goes on with the community. These courses I'm teaching for solo work, their show is coming up. It's a private show. So I'm not advertising it, but it's so cool to see people making work. I mean, that's a real privilege to just be like, okay, well, this is what I've learned from making solo shows. And people make these gorgeous, completely different shows, because it's a very broad thing that I'm teaching, which is like, here are some completely different techniques that I use for different types of thing. And then they can take or leave whatever they want. So they're making really different, awesome, cool stuff. So their show is on Tuesday and I'm excited about that.
How many I was about to wind up, but that's something in there I wanted to follow up on.
Sure.
How many of the writers that you in these classes would describe themselves possibly as having never written before? How many of them are sort of you're doing it for the first time?
Interestingly, it's quite a range. There's a couple of people who have actually written a solo show before and are like, I'm stuck on this one. Only a couple of people, I would say, in that bracket. Or a lot of people are there because they want a project to do at this time, and they're like, oh, I've always wanted to write a solo show. That'd be nice. There's a lot of people that do write but don't feel like they're allowed to share it with anyone, which I mean, you know about that because of your network, of course, that people just worry that they're not good enough. And they are. So I don't think it's for people that have never written anything. I mean, they're very welcome, but it tends to be most people that like writing but maybe haven't put stuff out there, and certainly not solo shows, or maybe 1 or 2 people. And we use devising a little bit as well. We have one session on devising. So there are some people who are improvisers, and partly because my network is mostly improvisers, who are like, oh great, I improvise a lot, but I haven't actually put that on paper. So how does that work? Or actually, I just want to make my show like practically devise it, improvise it into a script. So the whole range, I would say. Most people have done writing to some extent.
And as you say, it's often a privilege to sort of be part of that that sort of creative process, and just to witness that, and the genuine delight that they have in having created that work as well is lovely.
And it's a nice support system, because if you're making work on your own, that can be quite sort of scary or isolating. So that there's a community, and actually because I've taught the course a few times now, they open up their show to the other course. So there are people who can watch their work and feed back on it, who know how to do that without being assholes.
Well, exactly.
That like they know what's useful to hear and what isn't, or what's constructive and so forth. So it's good.
And I think that's really valuable, isn't it? That the idea that there are communities out there and online that are safe, nurturing spaces, that it's not just climbing on each other's shoulders. So we are sort of putting a hand down to help each other up as well. So that's
Mhm.
lovely. That's still existing even in this sort of whatever this is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yes. So thank you, Katy. That's been a lovely, gorgeous conversation. We hope to sort of see you again in like real life at some point soon. But take care and have a beautiful rest of the year.
Thanks so much.
Okay. Thank you so much. That was Katy Schutte, and thank you so much for listening and watching, and we'll be back again next week with an interview for the Cast Iron Friday Night interviews. Thank you. Take care.